see, with a topic like this in particular, there are so many factors that need to be discussed. But the most simplified terms that I could talk about, if this is just a random first encounter, neither of them know a damn thing about each other, Batman shouldn't have much of a problem. Because yes, Taskmaster is skilled, he has so many fighting styles copied. But someone like Batman should be able to handle him. What gets really interesting is if Taskmaster has done his research prior. Now, it's still not going to be an easy fight, but it would be a much, much harder battle between the two of them. Sure, Batman likely would still find a way to work around the copied skills of Taskmaster. One method that Taskmaster tends to do sometimes, if he doesn't want to try risking an upfront confrontation to copy someone's abilities, he will look at video footage to analyze their fighting styles, at least the primary basics of them first, before he dares to try and go and confront them. That way, by him at least knowing their basic methods, like what they'd usually start a fight with, it would give him time to use his ability to analyze what else they might have a lot longer and a lot quicker than it would take if he just went in there blindly. Now, even if Taskmaster were to memorize Batman's moves, I still think that with the added tech and know-how that Batman has, especially since he's used to dealing with combatants, at least his elite combatants that are similar in skill to himself, having someone who is a similar skill to himself as an adapted Taskmaster, I think he could still handle him. It's not going to be an easy fight, I'll admit. But if Taskmaster plays his cards right, I think even if he loses to Batman, he's gonna cause enough damage to Batman for Bruce to remember him. From that point on, if Taskmaster existed in DC as a Batman rogue, every future encounter is going to become more and more dangerous. And that's assuming that he only fights Batman. What happens if he encounters Deathstroke? What happens if he encounters the League of Assassins? Could you imagine if he were to train, or at least learn or memorize the fighting styles of Ra's al Ghul, Deathstroke, merging them with his existing knowledge of Batman's fighting style? It would literally become a snowball effect. Every new combatant he meets, he will memorize and implement them into some kind of hybrid fighting style that perfectly matches the pros and cons of each character he comes across to make himself the perfect fighter. So, first encounter, he gets completely bodied by the likes of Bruce if he goes in blind. If he goes in with a little bit of research, it'll be a lot closer, but I still think Batman wins. But from the third encounter onward, it would be a extremely difficult fight. So much so that I think Bruce would have to just completely let loose. Obviously, not breaking the no-kill rule, because he's still going to be Batman. But not holding back, not pulling his punches, fighting with every skill in his tool belt, both literally and metaphorically, pulling out every single fighting style, every nerve technique, every single thing he has ever learned over his career as Batman is going to have to be used if he doesn't get rid of the likes of Taskmaster quick enough. But again, due to the fact that Batman is one of those heroes that doesn't kill his villains, every time that Taskmaster would come back is either going to result in a fight where he gets so injured that he has to basically turn in for the night to, at the very least, sleep off the injuries, or if not, just have to call in the other Robins to take shift. I guess that's the closest way to talk about it. Oh, and speaking of the Robins, if they get involved, that means Taskmaster is going to start learning off of them too, and effectively over time become a composite Bat family fighting style in a singular person's body.